All right, folks. So I think this is going to be video 3 on how to work in InDesign and use fabulous paragraph styles to make your life beautiful. Uh, a little review from last time. We had done some formatting, some pretty tricky formatting actually. That little circle behind the numbers, that's pretty darn tricky. I had never had to do that before this. I just assumed, that'll be easy. And it was a little tricky. So that was a paragraph rule, believe it or not. Doesn't look like a rule or a line, but it was a dotted line that we just reduced down to one dot. That was something else. So we created a paragraph style from that. It's called number one or whatever section. And once we created that paragraph style, if we double click on it, we can do any formatting using any of these things on the list. So if you go through there and you're like, oh, basic characters. Oh, I can change the font to something else. Make sure you hit oh, that doesn't even have letters. Oh my, isn't that lovely? Luminary. So it does it just in a split second, and as long as you've applied the paragraph style to all these, it'll just do it in a quick split second instead of you having to do it line by line. So the benefits of paragraph styles is that you can format one thing, create a paragraph style, and then if you need to change it, you just edit the paragraph style and you can do every single thing in here. If you want an indent, you can change it here. Let's say I need just a slight, maybe a slight left indent with this font. Oops, that's a little too much. Maybe I do a 0.4. Depending on your font, you may have a different number than I do. So I'm just kind of centering that. You can change spacing. You can just do all sorts of different things here. So tabs, if we know we played with tabs, we're going to do a separate exercise on tabs just to get us more familiar with that. We have a tab stop set on some of this. If there's our paragraph rule, it's actually dots, but we just took it down to one dot. If you had a paragraph border, if you wanted something around the paragraph, you can put it in here. It's all one-stop shopping. It's fabulous. This is the most fabulous thing that Adobe invented. It's just wonderful. Hyphenation, you can turn it off here if you forgot. You don't go up here in this control bar anymore. Once you create a paragraph style, always edit it through the paragraph style. If you needed to change letter spacing and word spacing, guess what? That's here too. It's all here, one-stop shopping. If you need a drop cap for your first line, you can now do it here. No, I wouldn't do it on this. Bullets and numbering in case there are bullet points. Your character colors in there. If you need to underline something or strike through, it's all in here. It's just fabulous. There's very few things that are not in here. Character color is in there, everything. So I'm going to cancel, or I'm going to hit OK on that. Now I have some seriously crazy subheads that's not really appropriate because this looks kind of, I don't know, cloistery, I don't know, but a little bit, it feels European. Most of these places are in Europe, but there's American too. So this kind of feels a little Irishy. So this probably isn't appropriate for traveling the world. But you can see how simple it was, and it just quickly applied to the ones that I already made that paragraph style. Now, you do have to do some work in that you must click on the text that you want to have it, the paragraph style applied to. So right now, I got as far as the British Isles, but I still need to apply it to the Italy and Greece. Now you'll notice it might have moved to a different page. I also need to do it to Germany and Central Europe. Uh-oh, that's a problem. May have to reduce the size of that text. I need to do it to the Americas and to Asia and beyond. There we go. Now I also have to change the page numbers, which were character styles. Now if you're seeing that there's something like this going on where this goes into 2 lines, that really messes my mojo up. You can always go in there and edit the paragraph style and maybe make it smaller as long as it's still readable. And then it bumped it up back up to the previous line. So that's the coolest thing about paragraph styles is that they take an hours-long job and turn it into literally split seconds. It's amazing. Now the character styles, we talked about those last week. or I'm sorry, last class, character styles are when you have one item in a paragraph that is slightly different than the other items. In other words, the 21 in here is white, not this maroon color. So I have applied a character style, or created a character style. Again, this is review. I would have highlighted the 21, made it white, and then create a paragraph, or character style. Characters. Characters, individual things that are different from the rest of the paragraph. So paragraphs are about the whole thing, and characters are about little things, little bitty things. So mine was called white numbers, and I created that, called it white numbers, and then I applied it to things. Now I'm going to have to go over to this other side and apply some character styles to these numbers. So I just double click. That's a cool thing. I don't have to click and drag. I just double click on the number and apply the character style. Now, obviously, I have a problem with these page numbers that are 3 digits long, so I have to maybe figure that out here in a minute.
How do you change the color of the bubble?
Okay. The question was, how do I change the color of the bubble? We know that they're not all maroon. If we looked at the Word document that was supplied to us by the client, that we know that the, let me go to File and Open Recent. Oh, good. We know that the next section, European multi-country, was a green based off of what our client gave to us. So I'm going to open that Word document just for reference. Now, normally, guys, if it's a different color, I will make a different paragraph style, but we're only using each color one time for these headers. So what I would suggest we do, and it'll put a little plus sign next to our paragraph style, but I would go into this next line, triple click on it for the European multi-country, page 31. I should go by page number. It's much easier to find, isn't it? So on 31, European multi-country, I will not edit the paragraph style, because if I do, it'll change all of them to green. So in this case, this is one of the rare cases where I will do additional formatting outside of a paragraph style. So if it's just this color, I am going to go to the flyout menu first off, go to my paragraph rules. I'm going to change the little dot to green. It won't change the type to green, I'll just change the dot. And I am going to change that to my green color and hit OK. Now, this does require additional work, because I'm like, oh no, now I got to go in and do these individually. This is just kind of a nature of this kind of beast when they have that much variety. I'm also going to click on the text color and make it green. But then you'll notice that the page number has gone to green as well. Just double click on that page number and click on the white numbers character style. So there's a lot of additional work that needs to be done because each one of these are a different color. That's just a darn shame. There's no faster way that I know of to handle this part of it because of all the variety. For page 49, Spain and France, they wanted that blue, so I'm going to make that text color blue. I'm going to make the page number, the white numbers, and then I have to go to the flyout and go to paragraph rules and make the little dot green, not green, but blue, the first blue. Oh no, that was cyan. Excuse me. So I have to make sure I'm using the right color here. Text is cyan, page number is white. So this is a little extra work for sure. On page 59, Spain, that's going to be all orange for the type, except for the white numbers. And your paragraph rule, by the way, here's a keyboard shortcut for paragraph rule. We're going to go there a number of times. It's Option or Alt, Command J. That's hard to commit to memory unless you use it all the time. Option, Command J. So in this case, the color is going to be orange. Now, if I were going to use this, white type, orange dot, orange headline, if I were to use that more than once, I would make more paragraph styles, but they're only used once here. France, page 71, is a dark blue, so I'm going to go through and clean that up. Make my white number. Oops. You guys are going to get some practice on that paragraph rule flyout menu. That guy is a dark blue. Now, let's share with you something interesting. We know, or I know based off of the Word document, that British Isles, let me zoom in here, British Isles starts a new page. It's after the picture. It says so right here. British Isles goes on the next page. Okay? So let's do this. Let's learn about inserting a page break. There we go. We have not learned about this feature before. If we put our cursor at page 78 at the end of that type at that line, at the end of the word tours, we can insert a page break there. There's also a column break. In this case, a page break or a column break would work. A column break means break the text after this point to the next column. And a page break is any text after this goes to the new page. Okay? Since it goes to the next page, I'm going to insert a page break. So here's what we do. We put the cursor where we want the page to end there and the new one to begin. And we go to Type, Insert Break Character, and whoops, there's a page break. Now, you'll notice it has a keyboard shortcut. It's Command and Enter, the Enter key. Not Return, but the Enter key. Okay, that's that little arrow with the line above it. That means Enter. Okay, we should probably talk about those keyboard shortcuts just a little bit because it looks like hieroglyphics to us because we haven't really studied these that much. So we know that. Let me see if I can get a marker that's working here. We know that this is Command. Some people also on a PC might consider that as Control, but it's a different picture. We know that this is Shift. It's an arrow that looks like this. Shift. Gosh, this doesn't write very well. Let's see if I can get a darker marker. So this arrow up business is Shift. That's easy to commit to memory, isn't it? Here's your command. Now this one we don't use a lot, but this looks almost like a turtle. That's kind of like space turtle face, okay? I am a space turtle. Maybe he's got a little shell back there. There's his little legs. Hi, I'm a space turtle. That's my space turtle face. So that is Enter, not Return. It's the Enter key on the numeric keyboard. Okay, so on the numeric keyboard. If you're on a laptop, that is difficult because you don't have a numeric keyboard sometimes on a laptop. Okay, so that's Enter. And then the last one is, this is kind of weird. It's like half of an X with an extra serif. So if we took an X with serifs, like this, and we erased this crossbar and the bottom half of that, that's the symbol. That is the Alt or Option. On a Mac keyboard, the Option is the larger type. It's larger on that key. Okay. These are the four little symbols for most of your keyboard shortcuts that you'll be using. Command is the thing that looks like a four-leaf clover. Shift is the kind of bulky, solid arrow going up. It's kind of an outlined arrow. space turtle face, I don't know what else to call it, is the enter on the numeric keyboard. And then this funky partial X thing is your Alt option. Okay? Weird stuff, I know, but you can see that in all of these keyboard shortcuts, you'll see almost all of those represented here or there. Oh, force line break. That little arrow is shift and return. So let's write that one up there. That's a keyboard shortcut I use quite a bit. So this thing is hitting the return key. So that is a different symbol than hitting enter than space turtle face. Space turtle face. So this guy is command, the flower, the key, or the four-leaf clover, let's say, and that little thing I'm calling space turtle face, that is the enter key. Now let's look up here, column break. Oh, column break is just the enter key. Oh my gosh, sometimes I just do that. Like, oh, I know this is going to need to flow to I know it's going to flow to a new page. There's only one column on here. So sometimes here's what I do. If I just hit the enter key on the keyboard, let me zoom out real quick. If I hit the enter key on the keyboard, oh, bam, it moves it up to the next column. It's still breaking across the page because there are no other columns in there for it to fill. Now, if there would happen to be a column right here towards the left spine area, right in here, if there was a column here, it would break it here. So some people will choose to do a page break, which is, what was that, command return, I think? Oh no, that's quick apply. Oh good, I learned a new keyboard shortcut. Command enter, yeah. Command return is something else, isn't it? Command enter is page break. It looks like exactly the same thing, or it does exactly the same thing. However, it's not. If I go to type and show hidden characters, let me make sure I have my preview on, you will see that the symbol for page break, it puts backwards P in there actually. Let me go to the end of this column here. There we go. It's got a circle and an arrow. Boy, that can be confusing. So enter here in an invisible is, looks like a flower without a stem and without petals. That looks very different than space turtle face, doesn't it? So it is a little confusing that the symbolism is different. Now, if I were to just do the enter key, let's see what just the enter key does. The enter key does still move it, and let's see if it's got a different symbol. Yep, just the enter key is the arrow down. It doesn't have the dot above it. Okay, so if you're going, oh man, why am I dealing with this? It keeps going to a brand new page, and maybe the page is, the next spread. Look to see if you have enter or, what was it, shift enter? Yes.
Could you remind me what the keyboard shortcut for showing hidden characters is?
It is, here it is. It is Option or Alt Command I for invisibles. You'll notice I don't know if you noticed that half the time I call them invisibles. Let's show our invisibles. The reason why I call them that is so that I can remember the keyboard shortcut, which is Command Option or Alt Command Option I for invisible characters. Okay, so if you want to quickly show or hide those, Command Alt I for invisibles. Oops. Now, these little break characters, those keyboard shortcuts take a while for you to commit to memory because you don't use them all the time. But when you guys are in industry, you will find that you will use them plenty on different things. Sometimes I use them a lot on one document, but not another. So I'll temporarily memorize it, and then I'll just throw it on my brain because haven't used it for a while. Then if I got another project where I've got a lot of these page breaks, I'll look up the symbol and commit it to memory, or I'll write it down and I'll post it. The only thing I don't like about inserting a page break or a column break is it oftentimes puts an extra backwards P in extra paragraph return in before the new paragraph on the next page. So I'm going to just highlight that little P, and I'm going to delete it. It will not take it back to the previous page. That is a little flaw in InDesign that it just adds that extra return. Now I suppose we could try to figure out if there's a better way so that it doesn't do that. I'm going to experiment by putting my cursor before the 81 in British Isles. So I hit Command Z, and I'm going to do Shift Enter, and let's see if that takes care of it. Yeah. So I put, oh, but then my little ball is there. No, we can't have that. Okay, so we do have some problems with sometimes it throwing an extra paragraph return in there. We just have to kill that return.
What I did was to keep the ball from showing up was I went to the end of index of all 18 France tours, hit return, then added the break, and then I deleted that extra paragraph in that one.
Okay, still it's something we had to delete something. What I'd love to get away from is having to go in and delete something, because the whole point of this is to automate it. But it's not perfect. Close, but not perfect. All right. So thank you for that explanation, Danielle. Oh gosh, I broke it in the wrong place. Let me let me get it in the right place. It was British Isles. I was breaking it in the wrong place for just a minute. So France stays on the page 18 and British Isles goes on page 19. Okay, France was dark blue, right? British Isles, according to what I'm seeing in the text supplied by the client, that's that bright red. So I need to go to my swatches and get that really super electric red. Of course, I have to make the numbers white again, and I have to make the paragraph rule the bright red, not the maroon. Also, I'm not real happy when I change the font. I'm not real happy about how that number isn't optically centered. So I'm going to see if I can later on change the paragraph style so it'll bump it up a little bit, or bump the ball down a little bit, rather. Italy and Greece, those are that kind of burnty orange color. So I'm going to make that the burnty orange, the one after the bright red. Make my number again white. And then go into my paragraph rules and make the ball burnty, ugly orange. That is not a pretty color. Next one on page 103, that's purple. Americas are kind of like a goldenrod color. Now, if you run out of room and you're like, I don't have anything past Asia and beyond or whatever, go ahead and pull your column down all the way to the bottom margin and your stuff will show back up. But you still have text back in there. So Asia and beyond was that tealish color that I made. So we're going to make that teal, and the letters are white, or numbers are white rather.
Like a baby blue color.
It could be baby blue or teal, as long as it's different than cyan from page 49. Yeah, I changed my mind and made it a teal later on. I was like, oh, you know what? I'm going to make it teal. It just looks a lot different than that real light cyan. So I was just trying to ensure difference. All right. So by the end of this, we now have them all color-coded. And our numbers are white. Now, in theory, I should still be able to edit the paragraph style. And so I'm going to, I put my cursor in the first, oops, excuse me, let me get in the right place. I'm going to put my cursor in the first, like page 21, the first little subdivider. And I'm going to edit the section paragraph style, okay? So I'm going to double click on it. And in this case, for me, my numbers are a little off. They're not centered to the circle, and we do want them centered. Let me zoom in just a little bit. So this doesn't look all that great. It's not optically centered. But I want to be able to see some of the other paragraph styles too. So I'm zooming out just a bit. So I'm going to edit this, and I'm going to go to the paragraph rules, and I'm going to hope that whatever I do to this one, it'll do to the other ones, even though those are different colors. So let me go to paragraph rules. I'm going to adjust where that circle is. So I'm going to adjust my offset. So let me put that at 0.08 and see how that looks. Okay, let's do it at 0.1. There we go. That's looking pretty good. And my left indent may need to come down just, ooh, not too much. That's bad. Let's go back up. Oops. There we go. Oh, that's too far. Let me just do some adjusting. Oh, this is gonna get interesting. So my left indent is negative 2.125. It was at 0.02625. So I need to do about half of that. Oh, this is going to get mathematically interesting. So 0.125, let's do a 0.06 is half of that. So let's do 3/4 of that. So let's do I'll just try 0.12. Oops, that's not. And now what happens is they disappear because the right indent is off a bit. So this is where I actually get out a calculator and make sure that the right indent and the left indent, when they're added up together, they equal a whole number. So for now, you know what would be easier? I'm just going to leave it. What might be easier is if on this I do a first line indent of minus something. Let me see if that even works. So on my first line indent, let me see if I can do a minus on it. And it says, no, you cannot do that. Your text frame doesn't stick out far enough to the left. So I have a real serious mathematical problem I have to deal with now. So I'm going to get some paper and I'm going to do a little addition and subtraction. So let me see here. I'll just do it on calculator. So I have a right indent of 2.875. Now I'm going to add 0.125. Oh, that's 3.125. Or should I subtract 125? See, now I have to deal with math. Gosh, you guys love math, right? So let me minus 0.125. Okay, that is 2.75. All right. So whatever I take away from the left indent, I believe I either have to take away or add to the right indent. So let's say I'm going to take away 0.125 divided by 2 is, that's 625. That's too much. But let's minus, I'm going to minus that same amount, minus 0.0625. Let's see what happens. It's back. Woo, in theory, that worked out great. In practice, it also did. So you guys are like, how did you do that? Because I'm a math witch. I am like magic. Okay, so let me walk us through that again in case we got confused. I'm going to cancel that. So I'm editing my paragraph style, and I see that my paragraph rule is just slightly off. I'm going to take it down a little bit, but I'm like, no, I can't do that. It's not centered. So I'm going to, what did I just do there? I can't even remember. I think I took it down 1, and then I minused this, the amount that it took it down, which is 0.0625. 0 minus 0.0625. Oh, now I'm really screwing it up. Now I got double bubbles. Oh my. Yeah, I'm messing this up really bad, aren't I? Oh, there, it's better now. Well, I just did it till it was better. That makes no sense, but obviously I have it on a recording and it made sense at one time, right? So hopefully we can make sense of it. And then my offset has to go down just a little bit. It's not going to be 0.25. It's not going to be 0.625. It's going to be somewhere in between. So I'm going to try 0.08. Okay, I'm going to try 0.1. There, that's pretty. You just do it till it works. And now it's working. Yay! So I hit OK. And it did it to all of them, even though we changed the colors on the other one. Now, some of you may not have this problem. You're like, I don't even have to adjust it. She's just spending a lot of time doing stuff I don't even have to worry about. I hope that is the case there. But in case you have to adjust it, you can. Whew, I'm going to hit Command S, because that took me a minute to figure out. And I've done all that coloring. Now, let's go into our next area that needs a little finessing. Page 22. Youth and Young Women's Leadership. That 22 doesn't look optically centered to the 21 above it in my case. Does it look centered in your case? No. Here's what we're going to do. We have not created a paragraph style from this yet, at least for the demonstration. So I can do a little bit of additional formatting on this, and then I'll create a paragraph style. What would I do to push the 22 over a smidge to the left? What would that be?
The tabs?
No, because I don't want to have to hit another key. When I was younger and first doing InDesign, I would have said tabs as well, Danielle. But I've learned a little bit of a nicer feature. It pushes in from the left. That is called a what indent? Left indent. There you go. If you're just pushing something in from the left and there's no little dots before it or leaders, you can just do a left indent. So I haven't created a paragraph style yet, so I can go into my paragraph control panel here, click on the backward P, and I'm going to do a left indent, but it says, 0.625. Well, that's too much. Maybe I'll do a 0.03. Ah, fabulous. Now, you may have a different number. It's probably going to be 0.0 something, just so it looks like it's optically centered to that number above it. Now I'm ready to create a paragraph style for this, because it's all I needed to do there. Thinking this through before I got some other stuff down here. I'm like, do I really want a paragraph style out of that? Or do I want to go down here where there's something where there's a tab and make a paragraph style out of that? Ooh, that would be more efficient. Now, the only reason why I know that is because I've learned to look ahead in a document and go, okay, this guy is not as special as like page 34, which has a tab in it. Like that has additional paragraph formatting. Let me go ahead and do a left indent on that of 0.03, okay? It's going to be identical to the other one. Now I'm going to make a paragraph style out of that because I have a lot of things that have tabs in them, and I don't want to necessarily have to make two paragraph styles. So I'm going to page 34, and I'm giving my that whole entire line a left indent. For me, it's 0.03. For you, it might be a little bit different. Now, I want to apply that same formatting to a whole bunch of these paragraphs. What is my next step? Make a paragraph style. How do I do that? Yeah, while the text is selected that I'm really good with the formatting, I will go to New Paragraph Style, and it'll call it Paragraph Style 1. I click on Paragraph Style 1, rename it because it's just goofy to even have that, I call it number 2. Page and place. Or you could just say place. Or countries. Country. There we go. Now, if you want to, you can drag these and put them in order, like 1 and 2. It doesn't automatically do it. In Word, it will. When you do paragraph styles, it'll automatically put them in numerical order. Here, we have to kind of drag them. Now, I have to click on countries after I make the paragraph style to make sure that this is indeed a country's paragraph style. Otherwise, it might stay on normal. Now, it gets easy, doesn't it? I just highlight. Make sure you get your backwards P's, guys. Turn on your hidden characters, your invisibles. Make sure those show hidden characters is on. The reason why is you will have to click and drag in this case, because if you just do 4 clicks, it's only going to grab this paragraph. That's considered a paragraph, that one line. If you do 5 clicks, it's going to grab the whole story, and you don't want that. So in this case, we will have to click and drag. Make absolute certain that you have grabbed these little stinkers right here, these invisibles. Make certain you get those. Otherwise, you end up having some problems later with your paragraph styles. So I'm going to highlight those. Make sure that's a paragraph style. Don't make a character style for this. That was a paragraph style. I click on the number 2 countries. I do the same thing with each of these sections. Highlight them, make sure I get the invisible, tell it it's countries. Now you can actually assign a keyboard shortcut to these. If I double click on countries, let's see, there's a keyboard shortcut area. I can make my own keyboard shortcut. I can say Shift, Control, let's see, oh no, I think it's just the F keys. Darn it, these are already pre-assigned. Maybe that's an F15. Oh, I can't get it in there. F15, nope, 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 nope. Okay, it's not letting me assign it a shortcut at all. Oh, what a stinker. Okay, well you can if you override the predetermined shortcuts for the operating system. Darn. I would like to do that, wouldn't you? I just don't have the time. I just don't want to go into preferences and deal with it. I don't even know if they let me do that. They probably have them locked down. So I'm making these all the number 2 countries paragraph style. Super easy, right? And if somebody says, hey, I don't like that font, you can change it super lickety-split. No big deal. I love saying to an editor, copywriter, or a proofreader, oh, no big deal. I can do that. No problem. Now, when you get to the end, make sure you do not select looking for more information for full itineraries. That's actually a little sidebar thing. So only do through page 142 and its tour. There we go. That was easy.
I'm having a problem where my tabs between the numbers and the rest of the entry are expanding wildly when I apply.
Okay, here's what I would do in that case. So let me try to duplicate your problem real quick, okay? Danielle, let me try to duplicate that. Give me just a minute, because you all might have this problem. See if I can get it to mess with me. Well, okay. So I have a problem where, in this case, where I'm in Americas, Ecuador and the Galapagos Islands on page 122, classic is on one line, trip is on another line. Ugh. In this case, what I might recommend doing is edit the paragraph style and make the font slightly smaller. See if making it smaller brings things back to a somewhat normal state. Your text may be, your point size of your text may be slightly too large for it to accommodate that column width. Is it working?
I brought it all the way down to 8 points.
Ooh, that then, okay. And it's still acting crazy, huh?
Well, it doesn't act crazy, but
It's much too small.
yeah.
Okay, well, let's walk you through something else. So let's say you had to make it so small that it's now considered illegible. So we're talking like 8 point is way too small, right? So what we might do in this case is go ahead and edit the paragraph style and go to the tabs feature in the paragraph style. Now can get a little tricky if you're not used to this. You may have to move, like for instance, the first tab stop, that may have to move to the left a little bit. If you're doing it here, we probably, oh, there it goes. Whoa, I just deleted it. You may have to move that around a little bit. And I may have to come and look at your stuff just to see if that is the problem. Because it might also be that you have a couple tabs stops. And I'm going to come by and just see if you have additional, there might be some additional tab hidden characters. Nope, I don't see additional. Oh, why? Okay, you're definitely going to have to see this ruler right here. You can move it. And you're like, oh, you little stinker. He's hiding in there. Let's see if we can get him. Oh, there he is. Just a smidge. Oh, I see. This guy needs to move over just a smidge because of page 104. There's, oh my, let me get back in there. These 3-digit guys are. It was okay on 2 digits, but on the 3 digits, there wasn't enough room in there. Okay. Let me show you guys a problem because you may have a similar problem. I'm going to zoom into the area where we have 2-digit page numbers and 3-digit page numbers. Here we are. Now I'm going to edit this paragraph style. I'm going to mess something up. I'm going to move this tab stop right here. Okay, you can see clearly I have a problem. Page 92 is right next to its title, but page 104, the title goes, oh my gosh, there is no way that I can squeeze in by that 4. It is 3 numbers long. I can't get my B to end up laying on top of that 4. It won't let it do it. So it pushes it out to some default tab that's not even there. I mean, we didn't even create it, but it's a default tab stop. So these work because there's enough space for a 2-digit number in a tab, but these don't. So what I have to do is I have to just adjust my little tab stop right here, move it to the left enough so that it will bring back those titles. They aren't so squeezed. The tab's not so tight that it just squeezes it out. So if I put it here, it's fine. If I put it here, it's fine. If I put it here, uh-oh. So it can't be too close or it'll push it to a default tab stop. Okay, good to know, huh? So I'm going to hit OK, and there you go. So tabs can be really difficult to understand and can really screw you over if you don't know how to manage them. And we're learning. You'll learn how to manage them. It just takes time and experience. Okay, I'm saving. You guys saving? Save often. Now, let's analyze the Word document again. Where is it? I think I might have closed it. My goodness. I thought I had it open. There we go. We notice that the client does want the type of trip, whether it's a value trip, a classic trip, an insider trip, they want those pieces of text to correspond with the section for that particular group of travel countries. So if it's green, they want those types of trips green. If it's blue, they want it blue, and so on. Now, we understand that we can create character styles, and we will go ahead and do that. We don't need anything in the very first section. Now, because these are outside of the whole paragraph, these would be the little bitty things like they're characters, they're little crumbs. Okay, so I'm going to highlight Explore Value Trip, and I'm going to make it green, the same green as my section. And here's where we're going to have quite a number of character styles. We're going to have a green one. We're going to have a blue, cyan one. We're going to have an orange one. We're going to have to create a bunch of these. So I am going to go to my character styles because this is about sets of characters in a paragraph. It's not about the whole paragraph. So this is about character styles. It's already green. I just made it green. Now I'm going to hit the plus or add character style, create character style. It will automatically call it character style 1. Double click on it. I'm going to call it 2 green numbers. Hit OK. And now all I have to do is click and drag on classic trip, tell it it's green, same thing here, and so on. Now, unfortunately, I'll have to do this for a few of these. I'm going to have to make that cyan. I make a new character style. I'll call it number 3 cyan numbers. Then I go and highlight the ones I need to make them the cyan number character style. You're probably getting the idea of this now, aren't you? So I'm going to have to do this for a lot of stuff. You can see I'm doing it for each of the sections. And hit Command S every once in a while, but that way if something happens, you don't have to go back and redo it. One of the things you'll learn as a person who will use a computer pretty often, you will learn to hit Command S without even thinking about it. You'll do it constantly. It's like a nervous tick that happens after a while. Because once you lose stuff, you realize the importance of saving often, all the time. You guys getting the hang of this?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I like my burnt umber color. The character style is called burnt umber number. I love it. The burnt umber number. The things you just don't know you're going to say every day. So what do you guys think about these character and paragraph styles? They're very helpful. If you're doing a 100-page document, oh my lord, this makes, I mean, the character styles are a little bit of a work. You do have to, highlight, click, drag, and assign. Paragraph styles are so much easier than character styles as far as efficiency goes. But, gosh, if my editor comes and says, that color is off, I go, okay, no problem. In a split second, I can change it, and it does it to all of them. It's fabulous. Oops. Have to make it the color. Oh, I put the wrong color in there. Teal and ugly goldenrod don't go together. That was a mistake.
Adjust the 3-digit numbers?
No, I need to do that. I'm going to do that last. Yeah, thank you for asking. But no, I haven't done that yet. We'll talk about how to solve that problem for sure. This is a bit of a work, isn't it? This part of it. The character styles always are a little bit more work. But their value is in the fact that if somebody came along and said, you know, this green's a little too light on that white, I'd be like, yeah, I tend to agree. I would just double click on my green numbers and I would go to character color and I would go make a new color. Well, I can't make a new color here. I would have to make a new color out on my swatches. So I would have to go to new color swatch and go to Pantone and CMYK uncoated. It would be uncoated paper. I would find a different color green that would be more suitable for readability, but still bright. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this one. Add it, hit done. Then edit it and change it to that new green that I just made. So it won't take me very long, and they're done. Now I may have to also edit the paragraph style, or just go in and, actually for this I would just go in and make it green, because we already, we know that this is a little different than the initial paragraph style. Oops, gotta make that white. Well, you guys are learning a lot about InDesign on this one, aren't you? Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to let you guys work for a minute and also take a break. So let's say we'll convene this, it's 10:06, let's convene, or it's 10:07 now, let's convene at 10:30. And I will then go into these 3-digit page numbers and how to deal with that problem. And, oh, that one's going to be tricky. We may have to do some serious surgery. But this will give you time to kind of catch up, get your stuff, you know, formatted, and save it, and take a break, okay? So I'm going to stop this recording.